right, so we've all heard the phrase that practice makes perfect. Well, that's not necessarily true because anybody can just hit random balls out in the middle of the range and, it doesn't really help out. So one thing that we like to, let our students know is that perfect practice makes perfect. So what we can do with this driving range here, and we're very fortunate to have here at Champions, is we can turn this range into almost an on-course simulation of what we can expect when we're out on the course. So if we just imagine here, we have this fairway, we have a bunch of greens. So what we can do as we warm up is we can paint holes in our heads of, holes that we might see on the course. So for this first hole, we can imagine that we have this 350-yard par 4 opening hole. So we can, if we tee up just any other club, you can tee up what you normally think you would hit for a 350-yard hole. So I have a 5-wood in my hand, and we have this fairway that we're trying to hit. So I hit the fairway, and we can also keep track of stats. So that's a fairway hit. So I can write that down saying that I hit the opening fairway. And then next, we can say, okay, I normally hit that about 250 yards, so now I got 100 yards left into this hole. So I try to pick a target that's about 100 yards out in front of me, and this green right here to the right happens to be close to 100 yards. So if I hit a pitching wedge, close to about 100 yards, I can keep track of whether or not I hit the green in regulation or not. And what we can do is we can go through this and we can get statistics for it, and then we can find out, things that we need to improve on and things like that. So let's see you step up. We're going to play the same hole, so 350 yards. What you think you would normally hit off the tee here. All right, so maybe just a little right of target. So we can put that in as a missed fairway, so we know that. So you can go ahead and grab a wedge that you think that you would have in. And even one thing that we can do on this range is we can adjust lies, and we do have this rough in front of us that you can practice out of. And one thing that to keep in mind is that since we do have a big range tee here, is that we can change positions. That way we can create different angles to hitting the fairways, to these different greens. So that's one thing that you can keep in mind as you come out here before you play around. So we got about 100 yards into this first right flag over here. All right, so you missed the fairway, but you hit the green. So that's one thing that we can kind of keep in mind, and this is something that you can do to practice before you go out, before a round or after a round, to kind of get that on-course simulation of what it's really like as we transfer over the golf course.